That's right. Make some noise. It's going down right now. We're about to get into NBA 2K25, discussing what to expect for the future. But before we get into everything with this game, I wanted to talk about the history and get into how they evolved and how 2K25 is also evolving in a new way with a lot of new things, and you should be very excited about it if you're a longtime fan, or if you're a newcomer, you can also enjoy this as well. This is going to be a little bit something for everyone who wants to go down the rabbit hole of the history, the present, and the future of this series. And it's a lot to say and a lot to get into, but I'm super excited. One of the biggest things that I want to kind of start off with is we covered this in the article for the court side by Mike Wayne. And one of his quotes was, "The dribble engine is the most amazing upgrade we've had in our gameplay engine in 15 years." Okay. And so the reason why I keep bringing this up in most of my videos is because when Mike Wayne speaks, you listen, first of all. He's been around for a while, but mostly he tends to give you those gold nuggets on things to get excited for, and I'm very much excited. So let's take a quick look down memory lane so that you guys can get familiar with the history of NBA 2K. We're gonna kind of give you some facts and then some opinions. NBA 2K, the original, right? That was released in 1999 on the Dreamcast, the Sega Dreamcast, if you guys don't remember that. And at that time, it was competing against NBA Live, and there was like tons of other basketball games released that same year. And so it was a very competitive place. But somehow 2K and NBA Live were the only two that were relevant. And they were the best at their time. So you got to give them that credit, and it had to do with the way their gameplay started. And I'm gonna let this play out, but I want to talk about NBA Action that released in, I believe, 1997 or 1998, and that was an NBA 2K game. But the thing is, they did not call it an NBA 2 game. Visual Concept was the ones making it with Sega, but it wasn't until the 2K title came out where they started to really take over and do the work. And as we go continue to look through all of these games, I don't want to go through each of the list. But what happened was when the games were stuck on the Dreamcast, they couldn't advance in some of their technology. And it was harder to get to that level of PlayStation because at the time, PlayStation was so special. And of course, PlayStation and then Xbox came out, the GameCube, and NBA 2K started releasing on all of those platforms, and the technology also grew. And by the time we got to NBA 2K23, they were on every platform, and this was the biggest time for them. I remember going to the store to buy a couple of games. I used to go to the store a lot and purchase a couple things, and they're like, "Hey man, they got this on sale right now," and it was like $25 for the brand new version of a 2K game. I honestly don't remember which one it was. And I'm like, "Hey, I already have this." And it's like, wow. I don't remember if they sold it at that price or something happened, but it was kind of crazy to me. And what was very cool was that this game had some really unique elements. And we'll talk about like my career, aka my player. They had some silly stuff on there in the past, like those mini games with giant rims or small balls. Like they had all types of stuff. But I want to talk about this game right here, where they turned it into the ESPN NBA, and they kind of made it feel even more authentic. I love that. And that was something special. This is the general conversation to start off with. I do want to dive into where they didn't have the my career, and they didn't have the general feel of what we know now, where my career is such a big focus, and then my team as well. But in those times you would have to play simulation basketball. They did a good job with that. They had like street mode where you just go in and play, a little something there, but it really wasn't anything official. It was just extra. And as time went on, they seen that players loved that mode and they started incorporating different things. That's where the black top and so much more started getting focused on. And then they really opened the door for the community, in my opinion, for the community to get their experience as a my career player. And this is always fun. And this is a good feel of like, I love basketball, but I want to play as myself. And so that's where that part of it came out. And of course, my team, you guys know that that's like the money printer for people to purchase their cards and all that and have a good time with that. But the key here that I wanted to talk about is the gameplay. So we're going to kind of shift from just the history and kind of just talk about how I felt. In my time, I played all of the games. Okay, guys, I played double dribble. I don't think you guys know what that game is, but that was one of my favorites, my first. And I went all the way down the line. NBA Live came out in '05, I believe. Or was it '04? '05, '04. And I mean, 1995 or 94. And that was a fun time playing those games. And then 2K creeped up a couple years later and started doing their thing. And honestly, 2K felt like an NBA Live game. Like almost every game ever since NBA Live came out became an NBA Live style of game. They took a lot of the features and of course they implemented their own and did some great things. And 2K was working on the post game really well. I felt like they had some nice post game, complementing like a Shaquille O'Neal type player. They had different things like the play calling that was really nice. Features that a lot of people, you know, think is standard right now, but they weren't at the time. And I got to witness all of that. I got to really get inspired by their growth and by their changes consistently. It wasn't like they magically did some type of um keeping it the same all these years. And the problem that I see, and this is a separate topic about the current state, but the problem I see is that it's either very young people who've only played two or three, maybe five 2Ks or 10 maybe, and they think it's all the same. And it's like, no, it's a lot of stuff evolves, but it evolves over time. Okay. Forget about just graphics evolving. The little details change. Being able to dribble the way we do did not exist in the older games at all. And the more command that we have now with our dribble, it is second to none, and that's kind of where sometimes I listen to us ranting as community members. It's all the same game, and I'm like, nah, man, you're not paying attention. You're casual, and I say that with all due respect because I know there's professional people and pro players who will say this to a certain extent, and it's kind of like somebody cooks for you every day, and they're always making eggs in the morning, and they might season it different, but you might think it's the same. It's like, oh, he's making the same. It's like, yeah, but it's different. And so the reason I bring that up, and I'm not here to defend 2K, I'm the first one to talk about things that I dislike about them. But what I'm saying is, gameplay wise, I have watched it evolve on every single aspect. And you're watching the slow evolution. If you watch this in slow motion, you won't notice the changes. But if we went from the beginning to the end, which I'm going to do in just a second, just to give you guys a comparison and give you guys the understanding that we've evolved. And it's really like a minor thing. Like the dribble systems has drastically changed, allowing you to have dynamic dribbles and incredible animations in there. And we take it for granted because, in 2024, 2025, we just got all the goods. So it's a different world than the older days. Now the older days weren't great either. There was a lot of things 2K kept stealing from other games, and they were changing to make their own, and it was hilarious because I would play all those games, play all the basketball games, and see the things that they might have taken, and then also see the things that they innovated. And so it was big time, big time powerful. And I want to kind of touch on, we just saw 14, and the reason I want to bring up 14, 15, and 16, that's the era of my career when people really felt like, okay, this is special. And so they finally started focusing on that and making it a thing. And this is where a lot of us in the community have felt really special, and it's like our game. And it's not just, oh, an NBA player game. And so instead of having Kevin Durant's dribble or his shot, you can do Kevin Durant's shot with Paul George dribbles, or and so we got this mixture now where we're in control fully, and then we'll take for granted how amazing that is to be able to design your own superstar in that way. And they have taken all of this. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm getting to the point. Don't worry. I'm getting to the point about dribbles. And the fact that Mike Wayne has stated, as I said, the dribble engine is the most amazing upgrade we've had in our gameplay engine in 15 years, which is crazy for him to say. But the truth is, it's also awesome and it's exciting. So now we're going to take a quick step into looking at this for a second. And I want to kind of showcase some old type of gameplay. If I can get a zoomed in, maybe from the first year. Probably not. Take a look. Take a look. But as you can see, this graphics, and that's as high quality as you can get for these graphics, by the way, versus these graphics, guys. I mean, there's no contest if you're gonna be real about visuals, but also gameplay wise, guys. Like we really are in a new special era. And so please don't take it for granted. It's basically my statement. And we're gonna get into a couple of more evolution things. We're gonna sit here and check out a little better view here so you can kind of see how it all looks. The goal here of today's video is more just a discussion about the history of somebody like me who got to witness not only 2K but all the video games. NBA Live has died. Okay, and the reason I'm bringing them up is that it's gone. They shut the studio down. The employees got either fired or moved to different departments. Making Madden games or college football, and 2K stood alive. You know, they started a little later, but then they still evolved, and they're still very capable. And it's really because of you, the player, who gives this game so much time and energy. And honestly, I don't think we appreciate that enough. And I mean that in a respectful way because I know some people think like, "Oh, I deserve better." Like, yeah, sure, go play a different game then if you don't like this game. But be real, every game has flaws and there are things we can need to address and discuss and tell the developers to fix. But we also need to take part in a reality check of, damn, this game has evolved. It has changed over the year, and it doesn't happen one year after another all the time. But as time goes, we continue to get improvements and better experiences. So, in the current state of 2K, you have, the meme of it's the same game. You have the culture that everybody blames 2K or Ronnie. and things like that. Honestly, Ronnie has embraced people trying to troll him. I think he has like a Discord channel that's just called like Trash Ronnie Trash, you know, and he encourages it, and it's actually a very popular thing to do. And the same thing with 2K. It's like anything can go wrong. Your lights can go out in your house. And people would be like, "Damn, 2K, you see they're always messing everything up." It's a bad joke to be honest, but that's kind of the standard in the community if we're being honest about it. And somebody will do a bad pass, a bad play, and they'll blame 2K rather than just be like, "Hey man, damn, I need to work on that. Got to be better." And it happens a lot with new players. And I don't mean no disrespect to any casual, but a lot of casuals will be like, "Damn, 2K," and I'm watching a dude do something stupid. You know what I mean? He's getting guarded by three guys. He goes up and he's like, "I can't believe I missed that." It's like, wait a minute, dude. Don't blame 2K. And so, it's a interesting time to see. But to be real, man, it's a new generation, and I keep talking about this on my last video. I made a call out to the community, like, "Hey, man, you're feeding these new kids and the people who get into 2K. If you're gonna be bitter and disgusting about everything, it's like, why bother? Go focus on something fun. It's a video game. We're here to have fun, man." That's how I feel. And so I don't mean it with no malice because I know some people are like, "Oh, this is my game," and this and that. But the truth is, you got to do better for the people that are watching you or are part of the community. And so, yeah, take the time, focus on that. You'll figure it out. And that's where the state is right now. We're going to get into a little bit of the current future. So I would suggest for y'all to do that. And so right now, the present is literally around the corner. You have the NBA 2K25. By the time you watch this, it's going to be releasing soon, and there's a lot of key information and things like that. Very awesome. And I would expect for you to embrace this game. I'm going to have a crazy dope video breaking some stuff down in a second, but I want to kind of just touch on this current state and give you guys a quick rush version of what I videos that's going to be uploaded soon, which is enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Stop taking everything and looking at it in the wrong way. When you get into a relationship, the person you're with, you shouldn't be judging and looking at them all the time with a negative eye. Like, what are you doing wrong? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing stop doing this? You should fix that. You should work on that. It's like enjoy each other. We'll get better. We'll improve. We'll figure it out. We can talk about it, but enjoy. So that's my recommendation. The future is looking bright. We have some bold claims by the developers. That doesn't mean that it's true. We don't know until we get our hands on it. But what I can say is that there's 9,000 new, and we're watching Mike Wayne talk here, 9,000 new animations overall, which is kind of a crazy number. And they're basically learning how to add animations. And what's going to happen, and from what I've seen throughout the years, is once they can unlock certain things like that, it really opens the game. And it might feel the same because there's some of the same dribbles, but there's a lot of new things and new feels and experience that you could have. So when I get out on the court, there might be some guy who's just so good that I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's too good. And so it becomes a new experience because I never seen someone do all those things versus the other player who's copying his same thing he did last year, the same jumper, the same dribble moves, and not even trying to be interesting. And that's another flaw that I have with the community, man. I got to be innovative. Stop with all this nonsense. And so for me, Mike Wayne understands like I understand, I would hope, um, and many others do. If you're watching this and you're still here, you probably do. It doesn't happen overnight. and it takes time to improve and to get better and to evolve. And so I look at Mike Wayne and company and I say, okay, 2025 has some leaps that from what they're saying, and hopefully the future continues to improve in that way also. So we'll see when the time comes. It's still very early and there's a lot to think about, but that's how I feel about that. And I'm going to be dropping a dope video where it's just going to guide you on some really cool stuff. So it'll be popping up on your screen right now if it's out. And just support the channel, man. We're going to be doing some membership stuff. We getting fix the Discord up as well, so you can join that and get involved. Check that out, and I'll see you there. Peace.